An average person stands next to a basketball player. They often feel like a dwarf. The average NBA player is 6 feet 7 inches tall.
Oh my
when those
God.
6'7" guys stand next to these guys on this list, they also feel belittled. Here are the top 10 tallest players in NBA history.
They're so tall, man.
Boban Marjanovich, 7 feet 4 inches. Boban Marjanovich is one of the most popular role players in the NBA today.
He doesn't even need to jump.
Even though he looks like a bouncer in front of a Russian mob club, Boban became a fan favorite because he's the biggest kid on the court. You can often see Boban smiling and cracking jokes on the bench, or fetching balls when nobody else can do it. Unfortunately, he spends most of his time on the bench, as he's averaging less than 10 minutes per game in action.
Damn, for someone that tall, he's not playing that much. Maybe his ability lacks, despite having all that height to advantage.
Yeah, because he's carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah, but height
in
should
terms
be,
of his height.
Yeah, but height should be a big advantage, especially in the NBA. You're throwing towards vision, you're shooting shots, dunking, all that stuff. And like you said, half these, probably the whole list, don't even need to jump to dunk.
No, he doesn't need to jump. He just goes like that.
It's that green giant sweet corn.
Yeah.
He's been eating them his whole life.
And it's not because Boban can't play. When he was coming to the NBA, he was regarded as one of the best centers in Europe, with multiple regional MVPs and all EuroLeague first-team selections.
So what happened?
Because of different rules in European basketball, Boban was able to stay parked in the paint and dominate the game from the inside.
He's marking it.
In the NBA's pace and space era, he's constantly forced to run after smaller players, which doesn't play into his strengths. If he played 20 or 30 years ago, he would probably be one of the best centers in the league. Today, he's not playing much, but which other centers can claim that they kicked Keanu Reeves' ass in John Wick 3?
Oh, is that him? What the hell? He's in John Wick.
Bhullar, 7 feet 5 inches. Bhullar is a Canadian professional basketball player and the first player of Indian descent that played in the NBA. And as you might have guessed, Bhullar is really tall, standing at 7'5", and with a listed weight of 360 pounds. After 2 years at Mexico State, he declared for the 2014 NBA draft, where he went undrafted. But because the owner of the Sacramento Kings, Vivek Ranadive, is also Indian, the Kings picked him to play in their summer league team, mostly for marketing reasons. However, Sim eventually made the roster on a 10-day contract. He played in 3 total NBA games and 3 total minutes.
So far, just because you're tall don't mean you're going to be a great NBA player. That's the story we're hearing right now from this guy and the last guy. We'll see if that continues.
Pavel Podkolzin, 7 feet 5 inches. Similarly to Bhullar, Pavel Podkolzin was another guy that didn't play much in the NBA. But because of his short stint with the Mavericks and his height of 7'5", he's a member of our list. Pavel started his career in the Russian second division and also played in Italy before declaring for the NBA draft in 2004. He actually got drafted pretty high, with the 21st pick by the Utah Jazz, who traded him to the Mavs on draft night. He ended up playing 6 games for Dallas, for a total of 28 minutes and 4 points. He's still a professional player and plays in Russia. Chuck Nevitt, 7 feet 5 inches.
They're all 7'5".
Yeah,
Unlike his two 7'5"
7'5"
NBA counterparts, Chuck Nevitt had a significantly longer NBA career. However, his minutes average looks similar to those of Bhullar and Podkolzin, even though Nevitt stayed on the NBA rosters.
You know that Abdullah guy? Imagine him standing next to Hezbollah. Hezbollah, and the height difference. Oh my days.
Hasbulla would look like a little ant compared to
He looks
him.
like an ant to a normal person, let alone.
For 9 seasons. He played in only 155 games, with the average time of 5 minutes on the court. Despite the lack of playing time, he was a very popular player in his playing days, as many people wanted to stand in his presence and feel really small, which is a virtue of all players on this list. Nevitt won the title with the Lakers in 1985, despite not playing a single minute of the postseason. Regardless of that, he's the tallest player ever with a championship ring, which is a quizworthy fact to remember. Shawn Bradley, 7 feet 6 inches.
Oh, here we go. We broke the 5.
Standing at 7'6", Bradley was the 3rd tallest player to ever run on the NBA hardwood and instantly became a household name. It's hard not to notice a 7'6" guy, but Bradley was also a decent player. A premier shot blocker, he once blocked 14 shots in an NCAA game.
Yeah, but it's not trying to, shit on his parade. But when you're that tall, block shotting should be a lot easier than the more average NBA player. Don't get me wrong, NBA players are all tall generally, but when you're that tall,
It should be a piece of cake.
like it should be a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what more? It's expected.
which is a record that stands to this day. Bradley was also attempting to swat anything near the rim, but unfortunately for him, this also turned him into a poster boy for being posterized. Due to his size and somewhat nerdy looks, he was a target for most athletic wings who wanted
Damn,
to
he
get a
got dunked
7'6"
on.
guy on a poster. Bradley was
Dang.
drafted in Philadelphia, but left the biggest mark in Dallas, where he played for 9 seasons. He was averaging 8.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks for his career, and remained a known figure among basketball fans worldwide. You may also remember him from Space Jam, where he starred alongside Michael Jordan, and was one of the players whose talents were stolen by the Monstars.
Interesting.
Yao Ming,
That's
cool.
7 feet 6 inches. Yao is the best player on this list, the biggest Asian basketball star of all time, and one of the biggest ambassadors of the sport, literally.
So he broke the stereotype of Asians being short. He literally showed us that that stereotype is not for everyone.
Or maybe he stole the height.
Well, this ain't
For the
Space
whole
Jam.
country.
This ain't Space Jam, alright?
Yao Ming's parents were one of the tallest people in China, both former basketball
There we go.
players.
Oh,
Under the
both of
socialist
them.
regime of Mao Zedong,
That's why.
they were almost forced to marry and produce offspring. His mom was 6 feet 3 inches tall, and his
Wow.
father was 6'7". Yao was a government project in the making since before he was born, and he was expected to be tall. However, nobody really thought Yao was going to be 7'6". Young Yao was pushed to play basketball, and even though he wasn't any good at first and didn't like basketball, countless hours of training and his freakish height enabled him to dominate the Chinese league.
Yeah, of course.
He was selected #1 overall in the 2002 NBA draft by the Houston Rockets and instantly became a global phenomenon.
Nice.
Because of his height and over 1 billion Chinese fans, Yao was immediately one of the most popular players in the game, with a horde of reporters following his every giant footstep. But it wasn't all just height and hype, which some people soon realized. Yao could really ball and was
Nice,
extremely skillful for a player of his dimensions.
See, that's what we like to see. Not just, oh, you're in the NBA because of your height, which allows you to have a big advantage. This guy could
He could
actually
play.
play. We want to see people with height and that can play.
Yeah. It's good that he's not just posted near the goalpost either, just to,
To block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate this. He could actually do shit.
With an array of post moves and a silky smooth jump shot, he became one of the best centers in the league,
There we
if
go.
not the best, when he was healthy. Unfortunately, he was rarely healthy,
Damn
and his feet and
injuries.
knees couldn't support his large frame at the brutal NBA pace, which forced him to retire at the age of 30. He averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016.
Damn, you
he
done
will be
well.
remembered as the biggest and the greatest Asian player of all time, and the only guy who makes Shaq look small.
Oh, I've seen that video of them next to each other.
I
Shaq looked
haven't.
normal height for once in his
Yeah,
life.
Shaq's giant.
He was probably thinking, what the...
Oh my God.
I didn't realize that was him.
Slavko Vranes, 7 feet 6 inches. Slavko Vranes is a Montenegrin basketball player who had a long-lasting basketball career that stretched over 20 years.
Wow.
With his height of 7'6", it's easy to conclude why he started a professional career at the age of 17, when he signed for Turkish Efes Pilsen. With the emergence of Yao Ming, who got drafted the year before, the Knicks rolled the dice on him and drafted him with the 39th overall pick in the 2003 NBA draft. They soon realized he's not Yao, and Vranes didn't end up playing a single
Deep.
minute for the Knickerbockers,
No
as they
way.
waived him at the middle of the season. After he cleared waivers, the Trailblazers had signed him to a 10-day deal. He got the opportunity to play in 1 game for them, for a total of 3 whole minutes. In case you were wondering, he didn't score, but due to his height, he scored a place on our list.
So another one that just can't play and got in there because of his height. Damn, it's becoming a thing.
Tacko Fall, 7 feet 6 inches.
This guy could ball. Do you know how I know? What do you think? Black guys can play basketball, I'll tell you that from now. Black guys, let's be honest, all the top basketballers, they're all African American or some sort of African descent.
Yeah.
Like, they could ball.
Inches. Another member of the 7'6 club joined the NBA this year. Of course, we're talking about Tacko Fall, who plays for the Boston Celtics. Tacko was born in Dakar, Senegal in 1995 and moved to the USA at the age of 16. It was at the time when social media was booming, so if you're a hoops fan, the chances are that you heard about Tacko some 7 to 8 years ago when he was a high school junior, grabbing the rim with his feet planted firmly on the
look at
ground.
that.
Even though many
Junior.
scouts doubted that he would ever become an NBA player, Tacko drew extreme interest from colleges and ended up at the University of Central Florida, where he stayed for a full 4 years. Tacko's pretty raw basketball skills improved over time and became one of the best defensive players in college.
What did I say?
Cause he black.
Yeah, they can ball, man. They're serious about basketball.
To be honest, like in our previous reactions, for example, the NFL, like majority of them are Black Americans.
Yeah. They got the genetic gift, and on top of that, they work their arse off.
Yeah, they do put a lot of hard work into it.
And yeah, so they're gifted as well. So their hard work plus gift that's the best combination.
And won AAC Defensive Player of the Year in 2017 and helped his school win the first game ever in the March Madness tournament. Fall declared for the 2019 draft, where he set up records for height, wingspan, and standing reach at the draft combine. However, he didn't get picked in the draft. Instead, the Boston Celtics signed him to a 10-day contract, which enabled him to play Summer League for them, where he did good enough to make the roster for the season on a two-way contract. Fall made his debut for the Celtics on October 26th during a game against the New York Knicks and became a fan favorite in Boston, who often chants his name to get him some playing time.
Good stuff.
Manute Bol, 7 feet 7 inches.
Can this guy play?
Every time
That's
I'm in a
it.
jam, I always find a loophole. I got a crime record longer than Manute Bol. Ramped Big L in his hit record MVP. While Manute Bol wasn't an MVP on the floor, he was often mentioned in rap lyrics and starred on the front covers of magazines. What he lacked in quality, Manute had in quantity. Standing at 7'7", he was the tallest player ever at the time he got to the league. And that's what propelled his status in pop culture. Born in South Sudan, which is on average the tallest country in the world,
Yo, he's bigger than the house. What the hell is
How
that?
does he live in there?
it's on average the tallest country in the world.
Yo.
No, but honestly, how does he live in there?
Mate, he makes a giraffe look short.
He must have to crouch all the time he's in his
Yeah.
With the average height being over 6 feet, Manute was the tallest of the tall. And it wasn't just that Manute was tall. It was the way he was built as well that visually prolonged his already extremely long limbs. Manute weighed only 220 pounds, which made him stand out even more and also diminished his impact on the court. He was often bullied by physically stronger opponents, as most centers and power forwards weighed from 240 pounds upwards. Manute wasn't exactly very skilled either, and he averaged a mere 2.6 points for his career. However, despite a lack of production on offense, Bol was one of the best shot blockers the league has ever seen.
Nice.
That's why he was able to stay in the NBA for 10 years.
Wow.
With 624 games played. He averaged 3.3 blocks per game,
That's
which is the
good.
second highest block average ever, and is the only player who has more blocked shots than points in his career. A great humanitarian off the court, he will always be remembered by NBA fans as the Jolly Big Giant, and a metaphor for extremely long fence.
Looks like Slender Man. Do you know Slender Man? In the suit. It's like Slender Man. I love that. Number
George
one.
Muresan, 7 feet
Can this guy ball?
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
7 inches. When you're tall enough to peek over bathroom stalls, the chances are that you'll become either an NBA player or make people really uncomfortable from time to time. George Muresan did both. Chris Webber told this bathroom prank story when he was a Muresan teammate in Washington and described George as one of his funniest teammates. A Romanian center, born in Transylvania, didn't project to be tall, as his mother was 5'7" and his father was just 5'9".
What the
But
hell?
because of a condition with his pituitary gland, young George kept on growing until he finally got to 7'7", which made him the tallest NBA player ever, along with Manute Bol, who was even his teammate for a short stint.
Oh my god, imagine two of them in one team. What the? How'd you go? Oh, the shot's getting blocked 24/7.
Yeah.
Pretty raw and awkward when he first came to the league at the age of 22. Muresan didn't get much playing time in the first 2 seasons. However, when he became a permanent starter in his 3rd year, George turned into a solid contributor, averaging 14.5 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks, while leading the league in field goal percentage. This earned him the award for the most improved player in 1996. He led the league in field goal percentage the following year,
So he got
until a
better.
back injury sidelined him for the whole 97-98 season, and all but 1 minute of the next one. After his recovery and acting debut alongside Billy Crystal and My Giant, Muresan finally came back in the 1999-2000 season, but he was only able to play 30 games for the Nets before calling it quits because of the foot, knee, and back issues, which are common for basketball players of that stature. He remained a fan favorite in Washington, where he still lives today with his family.
Yeah, because the Asian guy had a similar injury and he just had to retire. He just couldn't do it no more.
It's a lot of impact on the body because look at the length of the skeleton structure. They're constantly jumping, running. It's a lot of impact on
Yeah, and I think
joints.
the movement's very explosive.
Yeah.
And they keep trying to keep up with smaller players. So it's like a lot of pressure on the body, right? So that was video number 1 of the tallest basketball players. What was your thoughts on the heights?
They're giants,
They're
living giants.
living
They're the
giants.
type of people that you'll see in Guinness World Record
Yeah.
to hold the title.
Like you won't believe they're real until
Yeah.
like you see it. Like,
It was crazy. But it just shows that height isn't everything.
yeah.
They were... Tall is an understatement of what they were.
Yeah.
And yet many of them couldn't even play basketball.
There was only like 2 or 3 on that list that was actually good.
Yeah.
Like good.
Yeah.
The rest were like very mediocre or bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, height isn't everything at NFL. That's the lesson we learned today. Guys, thank you for the recommendation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. More NBA videos coming up. For now, peace out.
Bye.